Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. V back with another Age of Empires 3 Thursday. It's week 3. I can't believe we're already on the third rendition, and I don't know what it is about this week. I'm just particularly excited. Maybe it's because I got a steaming cup of joe. That always helps. Maybe it's because we're on the beautiful map of Yucatan, with its 3 trading posts running right down the middle, all of these herds, all of these mines, all of this water on both sides. Or maybe it's because, for the 3rd week in a row, we have the unmistakable, irrefutable, really nice guy, Shake, who has offered up another replay for our viewing pleasure. I took one look at the title of this game and I knew, oh yeah, this is the one we're presenting this week. Although I did not watch it beyond the first 30 seconds to make sure that it ran. That is a pinky promise. So let's introduce the players. Of course, in the left of the map, we have Shake 2020, appearing for the 3rd consecutive week, playing as the Ottomans. If you recall from week 1, he played against an Ottoman player, a 38-minute match that was actually over at the 8-minute mark. Anyway, he is now playing as the Ottomans, going with a dock start, which is what his opponent Yug did 2 weeks ago. We'll see if it works out better for Shake this week. And in the right side of the map, we have Rodrigo Acioli, perhaps. I might be saying that wrong, though, playing as the Portuguese. So, you heard it here first. We have a vanilla old-fashioned grudge match. Port versus Ottoman. You go back to the days of vanilla, this might have been one of the most unbalanced matches in the history of Age of Empires, but now it's a little more fair. Rodrigo putting down the middle trading post as I take a sip of my caffeinated beverage. Gonna give him lots of initial XP. Now, if I saw that correctly, he sent schooners. That's interesting to me because he spent his initial wood on a trading post, then sent schooners, but has no wood to build a dock and is not going to have enough wood for a dock for some time. Interesting call there. We'll see if it works out for him. Meanwhile, Shake spent his initial wood on the dock. He's not playing any games, and he's already got out 2 fishing boats to bolster his food economy. So if both players are going for somewhat of a kind of hybrid water-land play, could even out, but if both focus on water, that initial speed from Shake might work in his favor. Although, that starting XP in the first stage for Rodrigo cannot be underestimated, so don't you dare. Meanwhile, both players are hurting, both players gathering up relatively good treasures. Looks like, our Portuguese friend has grabbed a native scout. Very, very good for scouting, as the name implies. A+ level commentary from me this week. And it looks like our Portuguese player is about to reach the 2nd age. Meanwhile, Shake already has. So again, Shake just a little more speed, sent the 500 food as his age up bonus. Meanwhile, here comes the Portuguese player. Now, let's see where he puts his 2nd town center, shall we? Always kind of a telltale sign of what the Portuguese player is going to do. If they place it super far forward, they might be trying to do something aggressive or at least seize map control. If they go super defensive, they are going to try to hold out against what they perceive to be an aggressive build. But look at this! Look at this! Kirimli Evlia is attacking that wagon. He is not letting up, but the town center is going to go down regardless. Gonna get some decent damage on it. You got to remember that buildings take, I believe it's ×4 damage when they're in construction. So even just one explorer hacking at this building is going to do some damage that could pay off later. Meanwhile, the Sublime Porte. What does that do? When this shipment arrives, all of your current food is exchanged for a greater amount of wood. So, Shake now has 1,700 wood. What? And again, I say, what? What is he planning here? He's putting down a mosque. He's putting down a house. He's putting down a market. He's getting out more fishing boats. Wood. Would you believe it? There's plenty of wood to go around and another dock. Meanwhile, Rodrigo has put down a cheeky dock in the south and is starting to get out fishing boats of his own and the two caravels, the Trinidad and the Sao Pedro. Although they still do not measure up to the mighty Sea Peacock, the greatest ship in colonial naval history. But these docks are undefended, and here comes the naval raid from the Portuguese. Oh no. And the Ottomans cannot, no, they cannot garrison within those docks. They did not send the, no, they did. Okay. I missed that. They can garrison in the docks. I thought you had to send a card for that. Once again, my exquisite game knowledge is on full display. Meanwhile, a artillery foundry. I've said meanwhile like 8 times already. It's just such a fast-paced game. An artillery foundry and a barracks has gone down using that ungodly amount of wood that he was able to get from that card. The Portuguese player has claimed the other side of the water, but so has Sheikh and the Sea Lion. That is a horrible name. That should be the Sea Peacock. Of course. This is interesting. I love this game. Okay, I knew this was going to be a good game because, I mean, just look how fast-paced it is. And we have a second Sea Lion and the oh, we're so close. That one was even a bird. Why can't we just get the Sea Peacock? Some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. If you're confused, go watch week 1 and you will not regret it. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Janissaries taking down this middle trading post. No military units from the Portuguese player, not even a military building. It's just been a complete fight for the water. Looks like, did he send advanced dock? He sent 2 caravels. No. How is his dock shooting? Oh my goodness, I am way behind. I have no idea how this dock is attacking this ship. If somebody knows, please tell me. Is it because there are fishing boats? Yeah, there are fishing boats garrisoned inside it. My goodness, I am an old school player. I need to get with the times. And I'm learning slowly but surely, but hopefully you guys can teach me and we can all learn together. Here's one thing I don't need to learn, is that Janissaries do not take long to take down a trading post. And that middle post is going down. Meanwhile, a wall is coming down for the Portuguese player. Where's the military building? Where's the units? Something. Crossbows. Does he have 8 crossbow? No, he doesn't. He has 6 muskets. I mean, that's not going to do much against Janissaries. He's got Minutemen. 2 sets of Minutemen if he really needs to use them. He's sitting at 37 vils compared to 24, so if his economy can continue to prosper, that's going to become a significant advantage eventually. But with this many Janissaries holding up all your vils, what do the numbers really mean? It's just all one big population space that's not gathering resources, not being beneficial to your Portuguese empire. And it does seem like this town center is going to ward off these Janissaries, but they've done so much good work already. They've built up those villagers for a solid 30, 45 seconds. Imagine how many dozens, even hundreds of resources that could have been for our Portuguese player, and still no military building. Meanwhile, I am kind of curious what Sheikh is doing, because Sheikh could definitely have out more units than he has right now. He could have Abyss guns, he could have more Janissaries. I think this might be some sort of pestering maneuver in preparation for something bigger. I don't know if it's an Age 3 play or something even more unorthodox. Knowing Sheikh, it could be anything. But let's go back to the water and see. It looks like both players have kind of resigned to their corner of the map. They've decided, hey, we've spilled enough blood. There's plenty of fish in the sea, figuratively and literally, for us to share. Age 3, there it is. the Admiral of the Ocean Sea. So it looks like this fragile peace over the water is not going to last long if Sheikh has anything to say about it. But Rodrigo has entered the Fortress Age ahead of our Ottoman player. And I think, okay, I like this. Look at, he's securing this trading post line, maybe in the hopes of stretching this out into the long game, getting Travois and upgrading that trading post and having those town centers there, which he can easily garrison villagers in, and he can use them to kind of act as glorified outposts to protect that section of the map and really just kind of squeeze the Ottoman player in and section off a lot of these wonderful, wonderful resources. But the Ottoman player, he will not have it. In comes Evliya to put down a trading post of his own, and still, we do not have a military unit from the Portuguese player. Now, I have covered up the progress timer so as not to spoil when the game will end, but we are at the 11-minute mark, and there is no barracks, there is no stable, there is no artillery foundry, there's not even an outpost, it's just wall. Wall, wall, and more wall. And the Battle of the Seas has turned for the worst. Look at this poor Portuguese fleet sinking to the bottom of the waves with the arrival of the big ship, because I'm not going to try to pronounce that Ottoman word. Meanwhile, the Sea Lion is under attack on this other side. This is so cool. Look at the two combating sides. I wonder, it would be almost even cooler if there was like a small passageway so that ships could get to the other side if they wanted to. It was just very lengthy. And if you wanted to move your ships that way, you had to consider whether it was worth it. In comes another galley, the Sea Tiger. So we've had the Sea Lion, Sea Falcon, Sea Lion again, Sea Tiger, no Sea Peacock, and my continued sadness. On the land, it's staying pretty inactive. More walls, sectioning off his hunt, his coin mine. I mean, Sheikh's not really pushing out at this point on the land. He's fairly satisfied to just take control of the water, which he has done. Although, with the arrival of the Santo Antonio, a frigate of equal size, but in come the Janissaries. Are the Janissaries gonna assist in this sea battle? What are they gonna do? They're gonna shoot the ship with their muskets? No. No, the commander thinks, we are not the right people for this job, and he wisely pulls back his men. But another frigate being delivered for Rodrigo, and he's continuing to wall up the map. This is like Age of Empires 2 level wall smurfing going on here. Just walls everywhere. Look at this map. If you could direct your attention to the mini-map, look how ugly it is. Just red and blue all over the place. Meanwhile, Sheikh is in the third age. He's sending 1,000 wood, and he has queued up the Imperial Age. The Logistician, can't believe I said that right, is in queue. Another galley is out. Will we get... No, the Sea Rampart. Okay. Meanwhile, the Sacramento has pushed the Ottoman Navy all the way back to its harbor. The Santo Antonio healing up at this dock. So I think it's safe to say that the Portuguese player has seized control of the sea. But at what cost? You see, I think that's something that we can get wrapped in a lot, right? As players and as casters, is you get so enamored with who's going to win water, you start to wonder, what are they fighting over? I mean, yeah, there's plenty of fish. There's plenty of coin from the whales, I guess. But, you know, is it worth all of the resources I'm putting in? Especially if my opponent decides to divert and put more resources into the land while I'm continuing to pour into the sea economy. But, I mean, having these two frigates kind of waiting as predators outside of your base, I mean, that is going to be useful. But then again, Sheikh can just avoid it, right? He's got two culves out. The frigates are not going to be able to match two culverins. For the second week in a row, culverins saving Sheikh from perhaps losing some infrastructure here. And now he's in the fourth age. Meanwhile, Rodrigo What does he got? He's got 1,800 food. He's got 20 coin. And he's starting to get out some military units. He's got dragoons and Oh! I was going to say he's making an organ gun, but I made a mistake there. That was a shipment. He's sending 3 organ guns to do what? To take out this dock? He is very fixed on controlling the water. But see, here's what I think is going to happen. By the time he takes control of all this water, I think Shake is going to roll up with some ludicrous land army or some cheesy unit, and he's just going to bowl it over. And then, yeah, sure, you've got 2 frigates and you got all the fish you want, but your town is in ashes. So that sucks. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The Kahire? I don't know. It's down now. He was going to put a fort down, saw the Portuguese units, and decided against it. What I will say is that Rodrigo has taken up a very, very nice chunk of the map. I mean, we know that the Portuguese, as a civilization, they go through a lot of food, right? They go through hunts like madmen. So they do need to secure a lot of food. Meanwhile, the fort is going up, but the dragoons have seen it. They're going to besiege it, and the fort goes down. Down goes Goodman, and that was a really nice pickup for Rodrigo. Yeah, because if Shake had been able to seize that middle part of the map and protect his trading post, it could have been nasty. Meanwhile, here come the 2 Colves. They're going to easily be able to take out those organ guns if they're not careful, but dragoons are actually very good against artillery and not too bad against janissaries in the right engagement. So what's Shake doing? Shake is he revolting? That son of a gun. He is revolting. We have Barbary warriors. Look at this. All of the... Oh, I probably peaked my mic horrible. Oh, my... Oh, what? What? 27 Barbary warriors. And 2 Colves. Oh, man. Why can't we just get a normal game from this guy? Either him or his opponent is always doing something just wacko. And what does Rodrigo do? He just pulls back his dragoons and goes, I don't know how to deal with this. How do I fight 27 Barbary warriors? What, do I just pump out 30 Cassadors in 20 seconds? Oh, my. Well, I mean, he has the sea. But as you can see, the sea is not doing as much as we might have thought. And, oh, my God. These Barbaries are just going to tear down this town center. Oh, those poor vills. How many vills are inside that town center? None. They're all dead. Oh, the slaughter. Wow. And a bombard is in queue. Oh, my sweet Jehoshaphat. Rodrigo, he's aging up to the 4th age. I think it's going to be too late. Like, at this point, he ages up. What does he do? What does he got in the 4th age? He's got 2 heavy cannons. He's got the Order of Avis, but I think those are going to take too long. He's only got factory cards other than that, and those are not going to be a short-term benefit. Not when this many Barbaries. Look at them. They are on a rampage. The organ gun goes down. See you later. Get wrecked, son. Say hello to my friend, the Culverin. More organ guns coming out. Oh, have you met my acquaintance? His name is Mr. Culverin, and goodbye, organ guns. Oh, this is just brutal. And I don't even want to know what happens when the bombard gets here. Oh my God, it's on its way. And it's got 3 falconets. Although he does have to be careful. There are a lot of dragoons on the map. And they're very, very mobile. Could take out his cannons if he's not careful. And out come the Cassadors, which is going to be good against all of this heavy infantry and melee infantry. But at this point, look at how much infrastructure he's losing. And all of this artillery, how does he deal with it? I mean, yes, the dragoons, but... I mean, that many dragoons. 15 Dragoons cannot take out this much cannons. This many cannons. I can't even speak proper English. That's how ludicrous this game is. Yeah, I don't even think Rodrigo knows what to do here. Like, he's not engaging. He's just making units because that's what you do in this game. But how do you fight this, right? Meanwhile, what is Shake doing? Shake is just pumping out more bombards, as you are wont to do. Come on, man. Unlimber that gun. Let's see it. Show off the big cannon. Shoot! Fire! Oh, that's a lot of damage. Shake is now at 70. No, Shake has no villagers, right? Because he revolted. Rodrigo is at 77. A lot of those are fishing boats, and a lot of them are fleeing for their lives in the face of this just horrendous Ottoman attack. But he's pumping out more Cassadors. Great. But what are Cassadors going to do against all of these cannons? And the Dragoons, they just don't even have time to fire at the cannons because they got to get through all of this stupid infantry. Although, saying that, the infantry mass has been weakened quite a bit. But at what cost? I mean, even if Shake gets driven back here, which I don't think he will, you know, the poor player has almost no base. Granted, he does have way more of an economy than Shake does, but Shake's just going to keep pumping out units, right? He's just going to keep sending cannons. Going to send more Barbaries. 16 more Barbary warriors. Call in the unshirted men, the muscular men who seek only to wear vests because it is fashionable. And he's training more of them as well. This is such a cool build. I'm not sure it's actually viable, like in a tournament setting, but how many times do you get to see 3 Falconets, 3 Culves, and 12 Barbary warriors working in tandem to besiege a Portuguese base? Although, where did those bombards go? I mean, the Dragoons are trying to raid, but they've actually been caught by the Barbary warriors. They've been snared by the Shirtless men. They were engrossed by their glistening pectorals, and they just couldn't help themselves. All of this military infrastructure is going down. Where are the villagers? The villagers are running to the coast. Quickly! In the boats! We're heading back to Lisbon! That's what I would do in their case. I wouldn't stay here. I would forget the name Yucatan forever. It belongs to the Ottomans now. There comes that bombard. I wonder what happened to the first one. Did it die? Did it sneak past my amazing observatory skills, as we all know? I mean, he's just got villagers scattered. Like, what do you do here? I keep asking it, but honestly, what do you do? Oh, no! Shake! Don't lose your army, man! He's gonna lose all this infantry to the 2 frigates. Oh, but now that the cannons are unlimbered, those ships can't stay, can they? I mean, artillery just does a number on sea vessels. Although, if he doesn't... I was gonna say, if he's not careful, he's gonna lose his artillery. Oh, is the bombard gonna get off a shot? No. They would have finished off that frigate, but it's not gonna happen. More Barbary warriors, because why not? And another bombard. Although, I do have to give it up to Rodrigo. He's staying in this fight actually really well. He's down to 54 vills, losing a lot here in another Barbary warrior raid. You know, very standard. The classic. The classic. How many Barbary warriors are here? The classic 6 Barb raid. I mean, that's in all of the guides. Don't you guys know that? That's right up there with the Dutch 5 Huss semi-FF. The good old 6 Barb raid. I mean, if you don't plan for it, that's on you, right? Shake is still pressuring. Oh, Shake is still pressuring the Portuguese vills, though his army now is kind of starting to spread out into different sections. I'd kind of like to see him just mass all of this together and finish off this Portuguese base, because the Portuguese player's actually kind of starting to remass here. I mean, he has such a huge economy advantage, obviously, that he might be able to just weather this storm. I I mean, if he can outlast and he can kill all this artillery, maybe. But I still don't know how you kill all this artillery. Not with Cassadors. He does have 2 factories out. He's sitting on a plethora of resources. I mean, just invest those at this point. Like, throw down a bunch of barrackses. Get out freaking crossbows. I don't care. Just something. And Sheikh, he has no resources, of course. But he's just continuing to send cannons. Cannons, Barbary warriors, bombards, more Barbary warriors. Yeah. I don't know if there's too much more I can say about this game. So let's talk about replays for a minute. I've said this at the end of both of my last 2 videos, but I just want to make it super clear. If you guys have a video or a replay, and it's a particularly interesting one, maybe it has a funny build order, maybe it has shirtless men like we see here, but please send it in. Just go ahead, go to my channel page. There's an email attached to this channel. It's mrbstrategygaming@gmail.com. Send your replay there, and I would love to record it. As much as I love Sheikh, I would love to get some other players involved in AOE3 Thursday. Now, back to the action, because I think we're going to see a fight here. Sheikh is sending his main army with his 3 falconets, his 2 bombards, his 2 culves to fight this kind of last stand force of Rodrigo, which it is not going to go well for the poor player. His his Cassadors just got melted. He's pumping out a lot of artillery, which normally would be his savior, but, you know, when you're fighting a guy that already has triple your artillery, a couple of cannons do not a victory make. And those Barbary warriors are keeping the Dragoons at bay. Only 5 Dragoons. Yeah, he just has no support for this artillery. But perhaps if he's able to micro it well... I mean, those 2 Culves could do a lot of damage. Especially since Sheikh no longer has any Culves to counter them. Nope. Nope, he just has no complementary force. And once the Dragoons and the Barbaries get involved, and there's nowhere to run, the walls, what was once our protector, is now our executioner. Meanwhile, it looks like, oh my, is Rodrigo gonna revolt? Rodrigo revolts! In response, he says, anything you can do, I can do better, but look at the damage. How many times am I gonna react to those cannons just slaughtering units? Getting a nice volley from those heavy cannons. I would not want to live in Yucatan. Would you want to sign up? You get to the military posting, you know, maybe you're from some poor slum in Portugal and you're like, I want to sign up. I want to go to the New World to get shot at by Ottoman artillery. And even if you're an Ottoman soldier, you're not much better off. You get to die so that the cannons can keep shooting. Meanwhile, the volunteers trying to beat this cannon down, and they do not succeed. And that is the game. Rodrigo resigns in what is probably the most interesting revolt I have ever seen. We had a double revolt game. I mean, can you want much more in a replay? Water economy, early aggression, funky builds, lots of walls, a bit of trolling, revolts, bombards, factories, shirtless men, and then a counter-revolt, and lots of artillery carnage. I mean, it really just does have all of the things you want for a perfect Age of Empires 3 package. Maybe a better caster, but when it comes to that, I cannot help you. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this match. It was a really fun one for me to cast. Hopefully, it was slightly entertaining for you to watch. If you have a cast that you want to see done, whether it's a friend's game or your own game, please send it to my email, and I will be sure to cast it in one of the following weeks. But until then, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you later.